The hospital lobby was quiet, filled with soft light and the sound of shoes on polished floors. Nurses moved quickly, doctors checked their charts, and people waited with tired eyes. It was just another normal day. Then a little girl stepped forward. She was small, no older than 6. She had short black hair, wide eyes, and wore a hospital gown with a soft pink blanket wrapped around her shoulders. No one noticed her at first. She looked lost but calm. She slowly walked toward a tall man standing near the front desk. He wore a sharp black suit and long coat. His name was Rian, the CEO of Novacor Industries. He was here to visit a business partner who had fallen sick. He wasn't expecting anything strange. But then, the little girl tugged his coat. Rian looked down. Her big eyes stared up at him. And then she whispered the words that would change his life forever. "Sir, are you my new daddy?" Rian froze. He wasn't a father. He had no family. He didn't even like being around children. But something in her voice so soft and hopeful made him pause. He knelt slowly to her level. "What did you say?" The girl looked confused but not scared. "Are you my new daddy? You look like him, from my dream." Rian looked around. A nurse had noticed and came rushing over. "Sir, I'm so sorry," she said, taking the girl gently by the shoulders. She was found unconscious near the old science facility downtown. No name, no ID. "We don't know how she got there." "She spoke just now?" Rian asked. "Yes," the nurse nodded. "It's the first time." "She was silent since they brought her in yesterday." Rian stood up. His mind raced. Why would a child from a destroyed science lab speak his name first? Why did she look directly at him like she knew him? "What's her name?" he asked. The nurse sighed. "She doesn't remember. She says it's Mina, but there are no records." Rian's face grew serious. He had heard rumors about that lab. It was shut down 5 years ago, sealed by the government after an explosion. No survivors, no research recovered. No answers. Until now. "Can I speak with the doctor in charge of her case?" he asked. The nurse nodded. "Of course." As the nurse walked away with the girl, Rian watched her carefully. Mina turned her head one more time and smiled at him. It wasn't a regular smile. It was calm, familiar, as if they had met long ago, but he knew they hadn't. He would have remembered a child like her. Later that day, Rian sat in the hospital's private office with the head doctor. "She has no injuries, just a few scratches," the doctor explained. "Her blood work is that strange, too perfect. It's like her body was built in a lab. No disease, no weaknesses, nothing. We ran it 3 times. Rian didn't react, but inside, he felt a chill. Built in a lab? Could she be a clone? He asked. The doctor lowered his voice. "We thought of that. But cloning is banned, and no lab has tech like this, unless it was very secret, very illegal." Rian stood up. "I want to take her into Novacor's care. I'll cover all hospital costs and bring her to our facility. We'll keep her safe." The doctor hesitated. "She's just a child." "Yes," Rian replied, "and someone wanted her hidden or gone." As the night fell, Rian sat in his private car. Beside him, little Mina slept peacefully, head resting on his arm. He didn't understand what was happening. But one thing was certain. This child knew him somehow. And if there was a secret behind her birth, behind her memory, behind that ruined lab, Rian would find it, even if it meant tearing open the past. The car stopped in front of an old building on the edge of the city. Faded warning signs covered the rusted gate. Yellow tape fluttered in the wind. The place looked like it had been forgotten for years. Rian stepped out, looking at the ruins of what used to be Nova Research Facility. This was where Mina had been found. The government had shut this place down after a strange explosion 5 years ago. They said it was an accident. But Rian had always felt something was hidden behind the report. Now he had a reason to find out. He walked through the gate, past broken machines and blackened walls. Dust covered everything. His boots crunched over glass. This place was dead, but deep inside, something waited. Rian reached a sealed metal door in the basement. It looked different from the others, clean, smooth, untouched by the fire or collapse. No one had been able to open it during the cleanup. He placed his hand on the scanner. To his shock, the scanner beeped and the door slid open. Rian stared. Why? Did it respond to me? He stepped inside. The room was cold and silent. Lights flickered on. Long pods lined the walls, most of them broken. Screens showed error messages in red dot in the center of the room. A dusty console blinked softly. Rian walked over and wiped the screen. It came to life with a low hum. Project EDEN status. Terminated last access. Rian 5 years ago. Rian stepped back, stunned. His name. His own name, but he had never been here before. Or had he? His fingers moved across the console. He opened the files. Data logs, test results, video records. A researcher's voice filled the room. Subject 09 is stable. Her brain development is faster than expected. She responds well to early bonding simulations. We've linked her memory core to facial recognition, coding one face as her guardian, the one she trusts most. Another log followed. Rian has been chosen as the bonding model. His image will be stored deep in the subject's mind to promote emotional safety. He will never know. Rian's hands began to shake. He looked at a pod marked 09. It was cracked open, the same one Mina must have come from. All the other pods were empty or shattered. He stared at the data again. Mina was not born. She was made, and someone had used his own face as a safety pattern in her mind. That's why she had called him Daddy. That's why she trusted him, because she was programmed to. Rian sat down on a broken chair, trying to think. Who created this project? Why was he involved without knowing? And why had she been left behind? His thoughts were interrupted by a soft sound. A blinking red light. He checked the console. Alert. Unauthorized access detected. Then, the screen went black. Before he could react, the power shut off completely. Rian stood quickly, flashlight in hand. He hurried out of the secret room, back into the dark hallway. He wasn't alone. He heard footsteps, soft but fast. He turned the corner and saw a figure disappear through the broken wall. Someone had been watching him, back at his private facility. Rian returned with a heavy heart. He watched Mina sleep peacefully in a guest room. She held a small toy, smiling. In her dreams, how could someone create a child, give her feelings, thoughts, and then abandon her? She wasn't just a project. She was alive, and someone still wanted her gone. Rian opened a secured channel on his private computer. His AI assistant Orla appeared on screen. I need you to analyze this data chip, he said, uploading the information from the lab. Understood, Orla replied. Warning, this data is restricted under Level X security. It was sealed by someone inside Novacore. Rian narrowed his eyes. Break it. I need to know who started Project Eden. And who tried to erase it. Yes, sir. As Orla worked in silence, Rian stood by the window. The city lights stretched far into the night. He had uncovered only the first piece of a very dark puzzle, and the real story behind Mina had only just begun. The next morning, soft sunlight entered the wide windows of Rian's private research facility. Unlike the cold and empty hospital, this place felt calm and warm. Mina sat on a couch, wearing a small sweater that the nurse had given her. Her hair was brushed neatly. She held a cup of warm milk with both hands, watching the steam rise. She looked peaceful but also curious. Across from her sat Rian. He had barely slept. His mind was full of questions. He had read more files from Project Eden, but many were damaged or locked. He only knew that Mina had been designed And someone had used his face to connect with her emotionally. Now she was here. A real child, alive, smiling. "Mina," Rian said softly, "do you remember anything before the hospital?" She blinked and looked at him. "I remember a big light and a voice, a nice voice. It said, 'Sleep now. You will wake when the time is right.' Then I saw your face." She nodded. "In a dream, I wasn't scared. I knew you would come." Rian leaned back in his chair. This wasn't just programming. Mina was feeling. She wasn't a robot. She had thoughts, emotions, and even trust. But who gave her those things? A few hours later, Rian took Mina to the in-house medical lab. He had called his lead scientist, Dr. Cora, to run a private check. Up. Dr. Cora was kind and quiet. She smiled at Mina and spoke gently. "Don't worry, sweet girl. We're just going to do some tests to help you feel better, okay?" Mina nodded and held Rian's hand during the tests. They took blood samples, scanned her brain, and checked her bones and nerves. When the results came in, Dr. Cora looked both amazed and confused. "Sir," she said to Rian, "this child has no health problems at all. Her DNA is perfect." "What do you mean by perfect?" Rian asked. "No flaws, no sickness genes, no weakness in her immune system. Her brain is developing faster than average. Honestly, it's like someone built her from the best parts of human DNA." Rian sighed. "They didn't just build her to live, they built her to lead." Dr. Cora looked surprised. "Where did she come from?" "I can't say everything yet," Rian replied. "But you must keep this private. No records, no reports. If anyone finds out who she is, she won't be safe." Dr. Cora nodded. "Understood." That evening, Rian watched old news clips from the time of the lab explosion. The public believed it was caused by a gas leak. But in the background of one video, Rian noticed something strange. A tall man in a lab coat was being let out by security. He had long silver hair and dark glasses. The name on his coat was Dr. Luno, the head scientist of Project Eden. Orla, Rian's AI assistant, spoke from the screen. Dr. Luno disappeared 2 days after this video was taken. No one ever found him. He was a specialist in genetic memory and emotional coding. Did he have access to my profile? Yes. In fact, he used your facial structure in a test pattern for child safety recognition in Project Eden. Rian frowned. So it was him. He used me as the emotional key for Mina. He looked out the window. What was Dr. Luno trying to do? Was Mina just an experiment to him or something more? Later, Rian tucked Mina into bed. She looked sleepy, but her hand held tightly onto his. "Papa Rian," she said quietly. Rian paused. You're not going to leave me, right?" He sat beside her. "No, I'm not going anywhere." She smiled, eyes half closed. "Good, because when you're near, I don't feel alone." Those words hit him deeply. She may have been made in the lab, but she was human in every way that mattered. He stayed there until she fell asleep. Then he walked out quietly and locked her room with the highest security. Someone had made this girl without permission. Someone had left her behind. But now, Rian had made a silent promise. He would protect her no matter what. The sun had just set behind the tall city towers. Rian's private estate stood quietly on the hillside, far from the noise of the city. Surrounded by trees and advanced security walls, it looked safe, untouchable. Inside, Mina was playing with a small robot pet. It walked around her room, blinking its soft blue eyes. She laughed and clapped as it tried to copy her movements. Rian watched her from the hallway monitor. Her smile made him feel something he hadn't felt in years: peace. But peace never lasted long in his world. At 9:43 p.m., alarms started blinking in red. Rian was in his study when Orla, his AI assistant, spoke with a warning tone. "Sir, we have detected movement beyond the outer fence. 6 life signs, unidentified, armed." Rian stood up immediately. Activate defense system. Lock all interior doors. Keep Mina safe. Yes, sir. Security cameras showed masked men in black armor climbing over the wall. Their weapons were high-tech, silent but deadly. Rian recognized the gear. It was old Helix Corp technology. That company had been destroyed years ago after several illegal experiments. But clearly, someone had revived their work. Rian rushed toward Mina's room. Mina was still playing when the emergency lights flashed. "Papa, Rian?" she called out. Eyes wide, Rian entered quickly, picked her up, and held her close. "It's okay, Mina. We're going somewhere safe." He pressed his hand against a panel. A secret wall opened, revealing a narrow hallway. He placed Mina inside and knelt in front of her. "Stay here. No matter what happens, don't come out unless I say, can you do that?" Mina nodded slowly, sensing the danger. "Will you come back?" "I promise," he said, then closed the wall. Outside, the attackers were moving fast. They took out 2 drone guards and entered the building through a side entrance. But they didn't expect Rian to be prepared. The hallway lights turned red. Turret. Drones dropped from the ceiling and opened fire. Lasers shot across the hall. One attacker went down, and another screamed as he was hit. Rian moved quickly, using secret tunnels to stay ahead of them. He picked up a shock rifle from a hidden storage unit and waited in silence. As one of the attackers stepped through the next corridor, Rian fired. The man dropped instantly, but there were still more. At the same time, Orla sent a strong signal through the estate systems, cutting off the attackers' communications. Rian heard the confused voices on their radios. "We're blind, no signal. Get the girl and get out." They were here from Mina. That confirmed everything. Rian fought through another hallway, disabling 2 more enemies using hand-to-hand combat and flash grenades. He moved like a trained soldier, not just a CEO. Years ago, before he entered the tech world, Rian had worked in private security. He had buried that part of his life, but now it was useful again. Suddenly, a sharp sound echoed through the halls, a pulse, like a wave of static. Then silence. All power shut down, even Orla's voice vanished. Rian's eyes widened. "EMP device," he whispered. The attackers had used an electromagnetic pulse to shut down the whole system. No lights, no drones, no protection. Except one. In the hidden hallway, Mina felt a strange pressure in her chest. Something was wrong. She closed her eyes, and without knowing how, she reached out with her mind. Her body glowed faintly. A soft pulse spread around her. Outside the wall, one of the attackers was near, searching. Suddenly, his helmet sparked. His visor cracked. He screamed and fell to the floor, completely disabled. Mina opened her eyes, breathing hard. "I don't want Papa to get hurt," she whispered. She didn't know what she had done, but it had worked. Rian reached her room just in time. He opened the wall and saw her sitting quietly, a strange glow fading from her hands. "Mina?" he said softly. She looked up. "I didn't mean to do it. I just wanted to help." Rian held her close. "You did help. You're safe now." They stayed there until the backup power turned on. Arla's voice returned. Threat removed. All intruders disabled. Authorities on the way. Rian looked down at the girl. In his arms, she wasn't just a child. She was something more. And the world would not stop coming for her. The morning after the attack, the estate was quiet again. Security drones flew overhead. Broken walls were being repaired. All intruders had been taken away by special agents, but Rian was not at peace. He sat in his private lab staring at a large screen. Orla, his AI assistant, had finally unlocked the damaged files from the secret lab. They were hidden deep inside old systems, protected by high-level codes. Now, they were open. "Play the first video," Rian said. The screen lit up. A video began. It showed a white room filled with soft lights. In the middle, a small child sat. Inside a clear pod, Her eyes were closed. Wires connected to her head. A voice spoke in the background. Subject 09 shows emotional response when exposed to visual images. The chosen bonding face is Vel. Memory structure complete. Then, the child opened her eyes. It was Mina. She looked exactly the same. Another video began. This time, it showed a younger Rian, maybe from 10 years ago, sitting in a chair. He looked confused. A doctor stood nearby. We will now begin memory separation. Rian will not remember the project. The emotional pattern will be saved for Subject 09. Rian's face on the screen looked dazed. He nodded slowly as a machine lowered toward his head. The video ended. Rian leaned back in shock. I was part of the project. They erased my memory. Arla's voice came through. Confirmed. You were used as a model for Subject 09's emotional link. Your memory was wiped for security reasons. Who ordered it? Rian asked. Another file opened. It showed an authorization stamp, approved by Dr. Luno. Status, missing. Rian stood up and looked out the window. Dr. Luno was the key he had created. Project Eden. He had used Rian's face to build trust into Mina's mind. Then he had erased everything, hidden the truth. But why? Why build a perfect child and then leave her behind? Arla spoke again. One more file recovered. A childhood photo. It appeared on screen. A younger Rian, maybe 7 years old, stood beside another child. She looked exactly like Mina, same eyes, same smile. The photo was old, but real. Orla scanned it. This image is from a hidden folder in the Eden archive. It suggests you and Mina were part of the early program before the official launch. Rian's heart beat faster. He and Mina had met before? He walked slowly to her room. Mina was sitting by the window, drawing on a tablet. She looked up with a smile when Rian entered. Papa Rian. He smiled softly. What are you drawing? She showed him the screen. It was a picture of the two of them standing under the stars, holding hands. It's us, she said. I remember it, from a dream. But I think it's real. Rian sat beside her. You might be right. Mina tilted her head. Did I know you before? Yes, he said gently. A long time ago. We were both part of something called Project Eden, but I didn't remember until now. Was it bad? Rian thought for a moment. I don't know yet. But I think someone wanted to protect you. Maybe even me. She looked down. Am I a mistake? He shook his head. No, you're a miracle, and you're not alone. She smiled again and leaned on his shoulder. That night, Rian made a decision. He called a secret meeting with trusted members of his company. I need full search access, he said. Dr. Luno is still out there. He created something powerful, and now people are trying to control it or destroy it. What if someone finds out about the girl? One asked. Rian answered firmly. She stays protected, no matter what. He knew now that Mina wasn't just a lab experiment. She was part of a larger mystery, one that included him, Dr. Luno, and secrets buried deep in Novacor's past. Someone had erased his memory, that someone had hidden Mina away. Heavy clouds filled the sky as Rian stood on the balcony of his estate. The wind carried a strange coldness that matched the feeling inside him. He now knew that his past was connected to Project Eden, but many pieces were still missing. Behind him, Orla's voice echoed from a nearby screen. Sir, we've located a person from the original Eden team. His name is Jaron Moss. He was a senior advisor before the lab shut down. Where is he now? Rian asked. Living under a false name. He's hiding in the lower city. Rian nodded. Prepare the car. I'll go alone. 2 hours later, Rian stood outside a small repair shop in a quiet alley. The place looked old and forgotten, but the security scanner on the door said otherwise. He pressed the buzzer. A voice answered, rough and tired. We're closed. I'm looking for Jaron Moss. Silence. Then the door opened. An old man with a gray beard and sharp eyes stood there. He looked at Rian, and his face changed fear, then guilt. I knew this day would come, the man said. Inside the shop, Rian sat across from Jaren. Dust floated in the warm air. Old machines lined the shelves. You were on Project Eden, Rian said. Jaren sighed. Yes, I was. But I left before it got out of control. Why me? Rian asked. Why was I chosen? Jaren looked down. You and the girl, you were the first. The project started with 2 children from a private shelter. You were both tested for memory growth, emotional strength, and learning speed. You mean we were test subjects? Yes, Jaren said softly. But it wasn't supposed to be like that. Dr. Luno promised the project was for the future of humankind. No more sickness, no fear, no war. But it changed. What happened to Mina? She was the only one who survived the second phase. They made her perfect. But when the government found out, they ordered the lab to be shut down. Dr. Luno went underground. Before that, he erased your memory and placed her in cryosleep. Why erase my memory? To protect both of you. You had bonded with her. If anyone knew that, they would use you to control her. Rian's jaw tightened. And now? Now someone wants her power. Back at the estate, Mina was drawing. Again. But this time, her hand moved slower. Her mind felt strange. She saw flashes places she had never visited, faces she didn't know. She saw fire, machines, and a man in glasses whispering her name, Dr. Luno. She said quietly, just. Then, Orla spoke through the room speaker. Mina, would you like to take a break? Mina looked up. Orla, am I real? Orla paused. You are as real as anyone else. You feel, think, and care. That is what makes you human. Mina smiled softly. Thank you. Later that evening, Rian returned. He went straight to Mina's room and found her asleep on the couch holding her drawing. He picked it up and looked at it. It showed a man and a girl standing in front of a broken lab. Behind them, a shadow watched from far away. Rian sat beside her, thinking Dr. Luno had saved her. But now that she was awake, others would come. That night, Orla gave one more report. Double quote, sir. My system detected a data pulse across the city. It came from an old Helix Corp signal, encrypted, hidden. Was it a message? Yes. A single phrase repeated. What was it? Orla replied, Subject 09 is active. Prepare for extraction. Rian's eyes narrowed. Someone knew Mina was alive and they were coming. He looked at the screen, then at the sleeping girl. She's not your subject anymore, he said quietly. She's my daughter now. The bright lights of the conference hall dazzled the crowd. Cameras flashed and reporters whispered excitedly. Today, Rian was not just the CEO of Novacor Industries. He was a man ready to reveal the truth. He stood behind the podium, looking out at hundreds of faces. Some were curious, others skeptical. Many did not know what was coming. But Rian did. Mina, he whispered softly before stepping forward. Ladies and gentlemen, Rian began, his voice calm but strong. For years, powerful companies and governments have hidden a secret project called Eden. It was designed to create a new kind of human perfect, strong and connected to machines. Gasps filled the room. But, he continued, the project was shut down after serious mistakes. People were erased. Records were destroyed. And one little girl was left behind. At this, a photo of Mina appeared on the big screen behind him. She smiled shyly, holding a small robot. This girl is Mina, Rian said. She is not just a child. She is the future of humanity. Reporters began shouting questions. Is this true, Mr. Vell? Is Mina a clone? What is Novacor's role in this? Are you breaking the law? Rian held up his hand. Yes, she is special. But she is also human. And today, I stand here not only as CEO but as her father. I will protect her from those who want to use her power. He paused. Novacor will change. We will no longer hide the truth. We will lead with honesty, ethics, and respect for all life. Backstage, Mina watched on a small screen. She clutched Rian's hand tightly. Papa. She whispered, I'm scared. Rian smiled gently. I know, Mina, but you are brave. And I am with you. But not everyone was happy. In a dark room far away, masked figures watched the speech. They spoke quietly. She's out. We need to move fast. The extraction team is ready. One figure nodded. The CEO is weak. We will take the girl by force. That night, Rian's estate was more guarded than ever. Robots patrolled the grounds. Security systems scanned every inch. Mina stayed close to Rian. Suddenly, the alarm sounded again. This time, dozens of drones surrounded the estate. Rian activated the defense grid. Robotic turrets emerged from the walls. The attackers fired. Rian fought in the middle of the chaos, protecting Mina as she stayed in a hidden room. He moved quickly, taking down attackers with skill and calm. But the fight was different now. These enemies were better trained. More dangerous still, one masked soldier aimed a weapon at Mina's door. Before he could fire, a bright pulse came from inside. The soldier dropped. Unconscious. Mina opened her eyes. I don't want anyone to hurt Papa, she said. Rian heard her voice and rushed in. He knelt beside her. You're safe. She smiled. I'm ready to fight for us. The next day, Rian appeared on the news again. This is not just about one child, he said. It is about the right to choose our future, to protect those who are different. His words inspired many. Supporters came forward. Groups formed to protect Mina and others like her. Novacor's new mission was clear. Stand for the future of humanity together. Rian looked at Mina, standing beside him on the stage. She's more than an experiment, he said quietly. She's my daughter. And she's the hope we all need. Mina smiled and waved. The world was watching. And for the first time in a long time, Rian believed the future was bright.